Okay, well, this is the part 3 conclusion video to the Weatherwall FM61H, MFD 1986, I think. All I did basically was repair it, rewire it, get it working. Well, this is the get it neat, this is the make it neat video, and easy to work on and explain a few things. So, yeah, it just came in because it's still turned on, so I'll prop the camera up. I can see what it's actually filming. You guys can watch how to take it apart. The first thing, obviously, is to isolate the circuit breaker. You know, lockout tag, I suggest you use it unless the switchboard's right next to the unit you're working on. But yeah, always remember to tag out whatever you're working on. Buy the lockout tags from electrical supply places. They're well worthwhile investment, because tagging things out means that they can't be accidentally switched on. So, alright, what do we got here? Well, this is the rewiring that I performed. It's safe and the wires are good quality, but it's not particularly neat and easy to work on, so I'm going to focus on making this neat because I don't really like the way it is at the moment. So that's what I'm going to do now. I know there's going to be a limit to what I can actually do. Yeah, like, I don't like the way things just sort of shoved in there, but there's, like I said, there's going to be a limit to what I can actually do to make it neater. I lost my cable ties, which is not very useful. So I'm not going to show the process because it's not going to be very interesting, but I'll just show the result. Okay, well, this is the finished result. I did get the new capacitor, which is that guy in the back, which is 50 microfarads. Yeah, it's 10 microfarads higher than what it's supposed to have, but I couldn't get a 40 on the day, and the temperature was nearly, well, it was halfway between 40 and 50 degrees C, so it was like 44 degrees or something almost. So, but what I've done here is I've loomed everything up, and I've done that really the only reason I've done it. It doesn't make really that much difference to the way the unit works, but what it does do is it allows for a lot easier fault finding, because you can now follow where the wires go. For example, these wires go to the control panel. If you remember how it was before, it was all over the joint. I've taped together the two power wires, you know, the active and neutral. These wires are just fan speed wires. And yeah, then you go over to, you know, that's obviously the loom for the start run cap for the fan. Then we've got this loom, which I've shortened it because it's just neater. You can see that all these wires here, they all go to the fan, the indoor fan, which is up there. So that's really what the goal was. It was to make it neater, make it easier to follow. I've rerouted a few cables to prevent them from chafing. That's pretty important, because when you're working on a unit like this that vibrates and the compressor kicks, you know, every time it starts up it kicks around like that, and when it drops out, you really need to make sure there aren't any cables that are on sharp edges. I think Rodelco pointed that out actually. But yeah, it's just, you know, this active big cable, or supply cable I should say, that can just stay where it is. It's pretty well insulated and there's no reason to sort of tie it up to anything. But I loomed up the active and neutral. Didn't need to, I just thought it looked neater. So I've got all the control cables on one set of terminals, because if you look, if the camera wants to focus, if you look, there's a few different sets of these terminals. I've got all the control cables on the front set here, so you can just unplug them. I verified it with the diagram, which is always useful because, you know, these are all labelled. The diagram, by the way, was stuck to the inside of this. Actually, you can see where it was stuck to. I carefully peeled it off and had it laminated, which is a very good idea. I've knocked a hole in the compressor tray because sometimes this condensate trap gets blocked up with crap. Now I flush it out fairly often, but just in case, it overflows into this compressor tray, and I just drilled a hole in there because I thought, well, screw it. You know, the compressor tray won't rust out anymore. The only thing I've got to do is scrape all the crud off this and get some cold galvanizing zinc paint. So if you're working on anything, be it a car, be it an air conditioner, maybe you should spend 20 minutes looming it up, because, you know, making little neat looms like that makes it a lot easier to work with. You know, and when you're pulling out these spade terminals, get a pair of long nose pliers and hold them on these bits here carefully and pull it up. Or even better, get a flat blade screwdriver, and where the terminal meets the block down at that low point, flick it up like that. Don't just grab the wire and yank it out. That's how you screw up crimped terminals, and you end up with a high resistance. So yeah, don't do it. And if you do, just don't tell anybody. Making sure these earths are tight is probably not a bad idea. I mean, yeah, everything's earthed to death on this unit, so I'm not really worried about it. And that would be getting a decent connection. And anyway, this tray is got plastic blocks between it and the unit, so it's not really doing much anyway. Everything's earthed on it, so yeah, you can see all the earth wires. But yeah, neatening up the wiring makes a big difference to it. Just makes it so much easier to work on. Really not much more I can say about this unit. It would be better if I had 90-degree, you know, crimp lugs, but I don't, so I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I've insulated them and stuff. It does run really well. Yeah, just a few improvements. The next step is to get a can of cold galvanizing zinc-rich paint and strip all the rust and crap out of here, and yeah, just spray this area with cold galvanizing paint, because that'll just prevent further rust. This is left long so you can pull the control panel out. I didn't do it. I've loomed it up, so if I go to pull it out again, I'll need to come out here and pull that off. But I didn't have any cable ties, but then again, it looks neat anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and yeah, this is my little cable management vid. It looks a bit average still, but it's logical. When you look for the control wires, there they are. And when you look for fan wiring, you know, you can peel the control wires out of the way and you can see that that's where they are. It looks better in real life than it does on the camera. I don't like the idea of looming it up too much. Like, you can sort of roughly follow the wiring pattern here, you know, where the wires go, even though they're taped up. If you go taping the whole lot up or putting heat shrink over everything, it makes it a lot harder to follow cables, especially when you replace different coloured wires with all the same colour, like I did for that. Of course, verification with a multimeter helps. But yeah, this is the unit done. I will be getting I'll be getting a spare capacitor for the compressor in the future. That one's dated the 2nd to the 15th, 2010, and judging by the look of the case on that capacitor, to me, he said it's brand new. I believe him. Got no reason to screw me over, and he charged me $50 for it, which is sort of about $10 higher than the going rate. But anyway, yeah, he's going to make a quid too. But I think it's been either sitting on a shelving unit in his shed a couple of years, like 4 years, or I'd say he's been using it as a test capacitor, because to me it looks like it's been in a toolbox or something. Obviously it's a new capacitor, like, you know, it's in perfect condition. So yeah, thanks for watching.